Bro, are we serious? Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. We hope the technical difficulties have resolved themselves. It's 2 outs here in the top of the second. Ovilas seemingly has settled in a lot more. There is a runner on third for DC.
That runner on third there because Brady Powell made an impressive run and catch and got the throw off quick enough to stop any advancement after the tag up.
One the count now. This one put on the ground, fielded by Diaz, throw over in time to Holub to end the top of the second. So after a big first inning, the Giants will grab the bats and try and respond in the bottom of the second. They're down 7, having Powell be the only run to cross home plate in the bottom of the first. We hope that all the issues have resolved themselves. We did see the chats. We tried our best, and we hope that it stays functioning the rest of this doubleheader. Once again, both games will be 7 innings, and so the Giants, with limited time to respond, down 7 with only 7 innings in Game 1. We'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis, joined alongside me, Collin Smith, as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Joey Nicholson up to bat first for the Giants. Nicholson has 2 home runs in his last 4 games played. Had one in only a couple nights ago, and then last night in South County.
Glad to see he's okay. His final at-bat in South County last night was a hard hit by pitch to his helmet. Took a second on the ground, but ended up taking first base, and glad to see he's okay here today.
1-0 fouled off by Nicholson, gets out of play, and bounces all the way over to the soccer field. 1-1 the count now for Nicholson.
Still Myers, incoming freshman at Lock Haven for the Grays.
That pitch misses. 2-1 the count now to Nicholson. Nicholson will depart Gaithersburg shortly as he is shut down, but he cranks this one over to third, mishandled by Noel Rivera. He just kind of swatted it down. It was to his glove side, but really kind of played it like his body was further back than it was, and ultimately could not make the play. And with that, Joey Nicholson stands on first. as they score that one. An error on Noel Rivera. That brings up Aiden Marino.
Sure, Marino's happy. He's not working with an out and has a base runner. The mishandle from Rivera.
Marino cranks this one into right center field. That's down for a base hit. Nicholson will just hold at second as it was quickly cut off by Wiltsey in center. And a quick relay throw will just keep it a single to Aiden Marino, and runners on first and second for Freddie Diaz.
Marino came around first hot. He was hoping to maybe take two, but sits back as Giants have two base runners, no outs.
First pitch to Diaz, swing and a miss from the sophomore out of Davidson. If you're just joining us, Carter Jenkins for DC suffered an injury in the top of the first and was unable to continue. We hope that he is okay in the future, but it did not look good for Jenkins. Needed help getting off the field. 0-2 now to Freddie Diaz. This one put on the ground to the shortstop Song. Fields it on the run. Does a little pump fake. Had to double clutch it there, but still gets the throw off in time to first. For out number one, runners advance. Nicholson on third. Marino now on second.
Now we see Brady Powell again. Reached base last time he was at bat. Also stole one.
Came around to be the lone run in the bottom of the first. First pitch to Powell misses outside, and I'm sure he doesn't like that, as he is always looking to hit that first pitch, as he did in the first at-bat this game. 1-0. Strike one called. Looped outside. One. Misses up high. 2-1. The shorter stature of Powell likely helped him on that one based on our TrackMan zone. 2-1 to Powell. Bounces in. 3-1. Collin, you were golfing earlier right there. Powell elects to not join you today in trying to swing at something in the dirt. Hopefully you didn't end up in a sand trap, though.
No, I avoided the sand traps today. Brady Powell not deciding to test out his sand wedge, as he'll take the walk much instead.
3-1 missed up high on Powell. That loads the bases for Michael Cantiliano. I mentioned in Cantiliano's first at-bat back when we had the choppiness of the stream. We hope that is fixed for all you viewers at home. Mentioned how he has a lot of RBIs. This one popped up. Ranging back is Wesley. He makes the grab. Tagging is Nicholson. So is Marino. And Marino will take third. Nicholson will score. So I mentioned at the start of the broadcast how Cantiliano has a lot of sacrifice hits recently for RBIs. And right there does it yet again to get Gaithersburg their second run of the game.
Good job to get the tag-ups going, get a base runner to third, and one to cross home. It's going to take the work of everybody in the Giants lineup to chip away at this lead, especially with only 7 innings to work with today.
First pitch to Andrew Holub found the zone. It's 0-1. Holub had a double his last time up and then got into it a little bit with Kochi, the second baseman for the Grays. Pickoff throw. Powell was already back there.
Holub got his bat checked after he hit a double last night in South County. They wanted to make sure it met all the legal qualifications of the Cal Ripken League.
Not using that same bat here today, but he did go 2 for 2 with that bat as far as I know last night. 0-1. misses up high. 1-1 the count now to Holub.
It was a black and white bat, and he came over and mentioned to us at the table that he had just picked it up in the dugout. He had no idea whose it was, but elected to use it, and thank God that it was a legal bat that he picked up out of the dugout. It's been the only bat check we've witnessed this season.
Third pitch finds the zone on Holub. Now 1-2 the count. Holub reached base 4 out of his 5 plate appearances last night. 2 walks, a double, and a single for Holub. 1-2. Powell goes. This one grounded over to Noel Rivera. Gets under his glove. Marino scores. Powell on his way to third. Throw down, cut off by the shortstop Ryan Song. And so runners on the corners again. And a third run scores for Gaithersburg.
And just like that, the chip away effort continues. Now 2 runs in this inning, 1 the previous.
That one a tough play for Rivera to make. Scored as a single. So an RBI single for Andrew Holub brings up Magnus Krieger. First pitch to Krieger way high, needing Aokovi to stand up and catch that one.
And again, it's the impressive base running from Powell. He got a jump on it to turn that single all the way around to home and score an extra run for Gaithersburg.
1-0 misses 2-0. Time called as Aokovi wants a word with his starter Brady Myers.
Magnus Krieger taking off his helmet in the batter's box. It's hot out here in Gaithersburg. You and I can feel it. I'm sure the players feeling it here in the double header day. Still only in the first leg.
Yeah, the 4th game for Gaithersburg in the last 3 days, including today. Had a double header Friday that they split with the Southern Maryland Senators and then fell last night to the South County Braves at South County High School. And then here today, a doubleheader against the DC Grays.
You and I are tired. I imagine that the players are 2 to 3 times, 4 times more tired than we are.
2-0 misses on Krieger. Now 3-0 to Krieger. Brady Myers having a lot of trouble here in his second inning of work. .30 pitch. Misses inside, and the bases are loaded now for Zach White.
Zach White quickly removing his lower half catcher's gear. He saw there was 2 outs on the board. He didn't want to jinx anything.
Well, as the only healthy available catcher for Gaithersburg, I believe one of the assistant coaches, either Casey Gibbs, the first base coach for Gaithersburg, or the hitting coach Austin Grass, would have had to grab the catcher's glove and head out there to warm up the next inning. Strike 1 called on White, so White likes to keep the shin pads on as long as possible when there's 2 outs, as does pretty much every catcher. 0-1 to Zach White. Myers shakes off his catcher. Now delivers the pitch. Misses outside. Aokovi with a bit of a pause. Kind of thought that one was in the zone. 1-1 from Brady Myers. Swing and a miss. Sounded like it may have been tipped back into the glove of Aokovi, but either way, the count goes to 1-2.
Pitch was in a similar spot, maybe half a ball closer to the zone. Got Zach White to chase it.
1-2. Fouled off by White. Inning and at-bat keep going. It was that 74 that missed outside, and then an 86, and now 87 from Myers as he tries to punch out Zach White. 1-2, bases loaded. Misses inside, almost hits Zach White. Kind of had to duck out of the way.
It came back over the plate just at the right time, still high and outside the zone for ball 2.
2-2, 2 outs. Swing and a miss from White, gets away, and there is no, throw down because the bases were loaded. First base occupied means there's no need to throw it down to first to complete the strikeout. So the bases are stranded, loaded, and we will head to the third inning. Giants plate 2. It's now 8-3 here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Jaden Ovilas back out for his third inning of work. Struggled to find the third out in the first inning, but in the second inning got it a lot quicker and didn't allow a run, giving his team a chance to cut into this lead. We've talked about that chip away mentality, and so after a long first inning was a quick second inning. Ovilas trying to aid what is a sparse pitching staff for the Giants in recent days. First pitch called strike one.
You mentioned Ovilas coming off of a overseas trip. So that first inning, it took a little bit for him to settle in there. We obviously saw the 8 runs, but found his stride in the second and got out quickly.
0-1 to Walpert, misses 1-1. So my suspicion was correct for those of you listening at home. Not sure if that's when the stream was still acting up, but I mentioned that there is no 39 on the rosters that I printed out this morning, or the roster that I was handed when getting here to Criswell Automotive Field, but there is an 88 on the roster in Tanner Walpert, and that seems to be a theme here in the Cal Ripken League when guys are added to the lineup but haven't been assigned a jersey number yet. They get a number in the 80s. So I said that it was likely Tanner Walpert who took over for Carter Jenkins, and our PA announcer assistant GM Daniel Harrington announcing as such. So Tanner Walpert down 1-2. Lines this one into left field. That's down for a base hit. Walpert looking for extra bases here. Powell's throw will be into third. Holding at second is Walpert. And a leadoff double for Tanner Walpert as a runner in scoring position already for DC.
Tanner Walpert taking advantage of his first at-bat. We saw him as a pinch runner last time around. So wasn't expecting to be up this early in the first leg of the doubleheader, but it takes advantage of his opportunities as they come.
Once again, we hope the best for Carter Jenkins. Not a great sight to see someone go down that quickly after rounding the bases and then needing help being walked off the field. So his replacement, Tanner Walpert, doing the exact same thing Carter Jenkins did with a double. First pitch now to Adonisio. Trouble with that name. TJ Adonisio, a RBI double his last time up. Now has a 1-0 count and a runner in scoring position. Grounds this one foul down the first base line, 1-1.
future Spider finds himself in a good position. Obviously, a runner already in scoring. He's working with no outs. Had a good piece of that. It was a loud crack of his bat. Just pulled it across his body, foul.
1-1. That one goes off his helmet. Tried to get out of the way of it. Couldn't duck low enough, so maybe Adonisio needs to work on his limbo a little bit. Ovilas obviously did not want to do that to Adonisio. And now it's 2 on, no out for the top of the order in Ryan Song.
Good to see he's not too shaken up. It's unfortunate when you're ducking out of the way, trying to avoid a hit by pitcher in a tough spot, and ends up getting hit much worse than he had expected.
Yeah, it was 73. Thought he could get out of the way of it by going low. Instead, had it go off his helmet. Zach White scoops that one up nicely as it went into the dirt. 1-0 to Ryan Song, who has walked in his first 2 plate appearances. One 0 to Song. Grounded over to shortstop. Marino can't get under it as he dove. Ball gets under his glove. Throw home. Tag applied. And Walpert's out at home. Brady Powell with a throw out from left. A nice outfield assist for the Radford product. Keeps this game at just a 5-run deficit for the Gaithersburg Giants for now. And gets the first out here in the top of the third.
Oh, the throw, the tag, great on the same page action from the Giants. I did want to mention that Song, he leads the team in batting average. It's the first time we've seen him put the ball in play. I'm sure he's not happy to see that it did lead to an out on an attempt to score more runs for the Grays.
That brings up Noel Rivera, who fouls the first pitch back into the fence. As the camera shakes, it's 0-1 to Noel Rivera. Rivera had an error in the bottom half of the second inning that led to Gaithersburg plating 2 runs, trying to erase what that error led to here with 2 on, 1 out. Has the speed of Song on first. Adonisio on second. Ovilas looks down, now delivers. Pitch goes outside, count even at 1-1.
Zach White didn't pop up there, but he certainly looked outside it. Adonisio is taking a very large lead off of second base.
Ovilas doesn't check him at all, delivers the pitch. That one misses in pretty much the same spot at 81. 2-1. The count now to Noel Rivera. I have to keep saying Noel Rivera because Andy Rivera batting 3 spots below him. No relation between the two, but all the more need to make a distinction. 2-1, 1 out. Ovilas now delivers. Popped up, tailing towards the fence. Zach White makes the grab. We've seen that play be an issue at times for catchers to make, but Zach White tossing the mask aside and making the grab in foul territory for out number 2.
It's not the biggest backfield here at Criswell Automotive Field. That one got awfully close to the fence. No hesitation from Zach White.
And we will see another pinch hitter, Rocco Gilbert, the D.C. native and incoming freshman at Alabama State, step into the batter's box. Pinch hitting for Ethan Nagy will just take over the designated hitter spot for D.C. First pitch, swing and a miss from Gilbert. Oh, 1 to Rocco Gilbert. 2 away, 2 runners on. Ovilas delivers here. Fouled by Gilbert back into the netting. And now he is down 0-2 in his first at-bat of the day. Oh, 2 outs to Rocco Gilbert. Ovilas still checking Adonisio on second. Delivers now, and that one misses high, 1-2. Ovilas kind of had to rush there. He took his time checking Adonisio, didn't want to run into a pitch clock violation, so kind of rushed the delivery of that one. 84, missed high, needing Zach White to pretty much stand up. 1-2, 2 outs in the top of the third. Ovilas' pitch misses outside, and he kind of sighs at that one, knowing he could have placed it a lot better as it went into the left-handed batter's box. Count evens at 2 apiece. Two outs. That one misses low by about a quarter of a baseball from being in the zone. Zach White thought that was strike 3, but now a full count, 2 outs to Rocco Gilbert. Runners will be moving on the pitch from Ovilas. He delivers now, fouled back into the netting. So the one outcome that required the base runners to go back to their original positions happens as Gilbert tries to stay alive with that emergency hack.
This is only Gilbert's 18th at-bat of the season. He's found himself in a battle in the top of the third as a pinch hitter.
Full count remains, 2 outs from Ovilas. Misses high and outside. It's now bases loaded here in the top of the third, and that'll bring up Luke Kochi. So maybe not the pinch hit that Gilbert had in mind. Neither the manager for the Grays, Jack Besser, but it does load the bases for the 4-hole hitter Luke Kochi. First pitch to Kochi misses. It's 1-0. From Ovilas. Misses outside. 2-0. And for Ovilas, you don't want this to end up like the first inning where you get the 2 outs and then the third out is just that much more elusive.
The third out has been the difficulty for Gaithersburg. They've gotten close. Multiple innings. There's the first strike for the count.
Kochi fouls that one off and thankfully just fouled off enough to avoid hitting Zach White. Again, Zach White in for a kind of a long day for Gaithersburg. Going to have to catch both 7-inning games here in this doubleheader. 2-1. Misses inside, bounces behind. Runner does not go. So 3-1 the count. Nowhere to put Kochi. As Adonisio did not take off from third, remains on first base for now.
Zach White got a good jump on that passed ball as well as Ovilas getting quickly to home plate. Scares off any potential steal.
3-1. Ovilas needs to find the zone or at least get a swing and miss here on Luke Kochi. And he does not find the zone there, and that walks in a run. It's now 9-3 DC. And manager TJ Brockway will make his way out for the second time in Ovilas' start. Ovilas continued after a rough first inning, had a great bounce back second inning, but here has not had the success he had just a few moments ago.
It's a thin bullpen, as we've mentioned, for Gaithersburg. Will be interesting to see how that plays out on the day.
And there is a new arm coming in for Gaithersburg. I believe that is number 17, Shane Murphy, coming in now for the Giants. So while Murphy warms up, we will step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network.
I feel like I hear you say that every day.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Shane Murphy out on the mound to replace Jaden Ovilas. He inherits 3 base runners but 2 outs for Andy Rivera. First pitch from Murphy, swing and a miss from Andy Rivera.
Andy Rivera, the team leader in at-bats for this Gray squad, just beating out Song by 2.
0-1 from Murphy. Misses low, so after getting a swing and miss on a low pitch, that one Andy Rivera doesn't bite on. It's now 1-1. Song on third, Gilbert on second. This one popped up, tailing out of play, and it does make its way out over the DC Grays dugout. It's now 1-2 to Andy Rivera.
So Shane Murphy comes into this game in less than ideal situation. We've seen it multiple times. Gaithersburg turning to the bullpen to get the elusive third out, as we mentioned, but with bases loaded.
1-2. Swing and a miss from Rivera. So 1 run scores for DC, and it's only 1 run in large part due to Brady Powell, who threw out Tanner Walpert stretching at home. So the score now 9-3 DC, and we'll head to the bottom of the third here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Good stuff, Brady. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis, joined alongside me, Collin Smith. As we go to the bottom of the third inning, Nate Houghton-Henley will lead off for Gaithersburg. Last inning, the Giants able to get 2, but stranded the bases loaded, and a big missed opportunity for Gaithersburg. 1 run scored in the top of the third, but only 1 run. It's now 9-3 DC. First pitch to Nate Houghton-Henley misses outside. It's 1-0 to the future Terrapin. 1-0. Tipped back by Henley. Bit of a high pitch. I believe it was an elevated fastball, so Henley trying to look to just line it over the infielders' heads.
A bit of a change of scenery last night. We saw Nate Houghton-Henley take the mound.
Was the final pitcher for the Giants last night at South County. Grounds this one over to short. Song fields it, throws over just in time to get Henley. About half a stride separated that play. Song had to wait for it a little bit and then backed up on it again, but still made the throw over in time to get out number 1.
Now, Joey Nicholson, his days winding down with Gaithersburg, steps up.
Nicholson reached on an error to third baseman Noel Rivera last time up. Second pitch misses way high over the head of Nicholson. Nicholson having taken one to the side of the head last night in the top of the 9th inning. Not showing that affects him here today. 1-1. Started the hands, thought maybe that pitch was going to break back over the plate, but quickly pulled back to his chest to leave that one alone. 2-1 to Nicholson.
I don't know if he's got a magnet in his helmet. The balls in the past 2 days have certainly been getting awfully close to him. That one finds the zone, though.
Finds the zone, much to the dismay of Nicholson. Count even at 2-2. Nicholson pops this one up into straightaway center. Backtracking is Wiltsey under it to make the grab. Long hang time there for Nicholson. Just couldn't quite barrel it up.
His power is undeniable. Just the fact that got all the way into middle center field with a really long hang time shows that he puts muscle behind it. We saw him have home runs multiple times in the past couple days. Just unable to get the correct angle on that one.
Brings up Aiden Marino. Spits on the first one, but called strike 1. Marino singled and then came around to score last inning. Second pitch misses outside. One to Marino. Swings around on that one. Elevated pretty much at Marino's chin. 1-2. Brady Myers continues to work, trying to get through 3 here. Fouled off back into the backstop by Marino. Count remains 1-2. Marino, the sophomore, currently in the portal. Watches ball 2 in the dirt. 2-2, 2 outs. Marino pops this one up. Ranging back is Kochi, but called off is Andy Rivera to make the grab in shallow right. So 3 up, 3 down for Brady Myers. And we'll go to the 4th inning. The score still 9-3 here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Shane Murphy back out for another inning of work in relief. First pitch to Tyler Wiltsey misses. Now 2-0 the count. A pinch hitter for Wiltsey. It's former Giant Andrew Ruggieri. Count now 3-0 to Ruggieri. Got to talk to him pregame once again. Now 3-1 to Ruggieri. Ruggieri listed as a pitcher on the Grays lineup, but can also play the outfield where he'll likely take over for Wiltsey out in center field. Full count now to Ruggieri. Talk to him about pitcher availability. The Grays losing some arms. Full count to Ruggieri, and he's aboard with a leadoff walk.
Murphy out on the mound for Gaithersburg. Manager TJ Brockway's going to leave him out there as long as he can. As we've talked about the pitcher availability, Murphy's only pitched 5 2/3 this season so far, appeared in 4 games.
Brings up Isaac Aokovi, who grounds this one over to Marino. Double play ball. Marino will do it himself in time. Steps on second, throws on the run to Holub, and just like that, the leadoff walk by Ruggieri is eliminated, and there's 2 gone here in the top of the 4th.
I'm sure Murphy's happy to see that walk erased. Marino showing off impressive fielding ability. As you mentioned, doing it himself from the infield.
Yeah, there's that moment of hesitation where shortstops can elect to flip it to their second baseman if they're there in time, but Marino getting the timing down right, pretty much propelling himself off the second base bag to make that play. Kind of hopped up to get over the runner of Ruggieri. 1-0, misses. 2-0 now to Tanner Walpert. Again, Walpert originally came in as a pinch runner for the injured Carter Jenkins and has since taken over at first base. Strike 1 called. It's now 2-1 on Walpert. Walpert, the rising junior at Franklin and Marshall College. Pops this one up into left center. Ranging under it is Henley, who called off Powell. Kind of had a far way to go to get that one, but he does make the grab in time. So Murphy faces the minimum, and we go to the 4th inning, or bottom of the 4th inning, here on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Makes a lot more sense.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. It is A.J. Thomas on the mound for the Grays, wearing number 41, rostered as number 18, but the Easton, Pennsylvania native, rising junior at Marist College, will step on the bump for D.C. First batter he will face is the bottom of the order for the Giants, Freddie Diaz, trying to flip the card over. First pitch to Diaz misses high.
Wonder what went into A.J. Williams and A.J. Thomas switching jerseys for the Grays. Glad we figured that out before stats books started going.
Funny enough that both of their names are A.J. One Thomas, one Williams. Williams listed as the catcher. So originally we thought a catcher was on the bump for D.C., but mix-up avoided. Pitch from A.J. Thomas, 2-0. Hit hard by Diaz into center field, tracking is Ruggieri to make the grab for out number 1.
We've seen crazier things than a catcher taking the mound.
We have indeed. Last night in South County, the Giants had to pitch 2 outfielders. Nate Houghton-Henley, who starts game 1 of this doubleheader today in center field, and then Aaron Babayev, who I would be shocked if we don't see in game 2. So now Brady Powell steps up. First pitch called strike. Broke back over the plate at 68 from Thomas. Powell a single and a walk. Oh, 1. Strike 2 called. Now on Powell, so the usual aggressive hitting from Powell, looking at 2 strikes, and he's down now to A.J. Thomas.
Powell, a big reason there's not 10 runs on the board for the Grays. Had a throw out to home plate.
A.O. Covey having to jump high, well, not really jump high, but lurch his glove up into the air for that one. 1-2 to Powell. Inside, almost hits the front leg of Powell. Now 2-2 as Thomas himself gets off the mound to go get that ball.
I talked about Nicholson wearing a magnet. Maybe the balls were coming flying at him. I think if Powell was wearing one, it would be the reverse side, because that ball just seemed to travel perfectly around him, almost a force deflecting it away to make sure he didn't get hit.
2-2 now to the Radford product. 1 away. Misses outside where the third pitch did. So now a full count for Brady Powell, trying to reach base for the 3rd time here in Game 1.
Talked about he's an aggressive hitter. He likes that first pitch. He's been able to stay patient and watch all 5.
Full count pitch. Lines this one into right center. That's down for a base hit. Powell turning, putting on the Jets now for second. The relay throw is offline and slow into second base. Song had to take a couple steps off of second, so didn't even bother applying a tag.
Patience pays off. Mentioned Powell watched 5 pitches. It was a full count. He watched 2 go to the zone, but waits till he sees what he likes, and that was the 6th pitch. Puts it in a nice spot to the outfield. Gets himself to scoring position.
Now a runner in scoring position for Michael Quintiliano. First pitch to Quintiliano misses outside. Quintiliano popped up to third his first time up, and then a sac fly for an RBI his last time up. 1-0 to the Seton Hall Pirate. Gets out of the way of that one as he thought it was lined up to hit him, but at 65, it slowly creeps back over the plate and in there for strike 1.
Wonder if he stays in the box if it clips him before curving back to the zone.
1-1. Called strike 2. Yeah, I mean, that was quite a pitch there from A.J. Thomas. I mean, it looked to go right at Quintiliano, which is why he stepped out and had it a late breaking pitch find the zone. He's down 1-2 now. Powell on second. That one misses outside, 2-2. So good patience from Quintiliano to keep this at bat alive.
I think Quintiliano has my favorite walk-up song from the Giants. I like the way you move. I'd like to see him moving out on the base path if he can get his bat behind this one.
2-2. Hammers this one foul out in right field. I mean, he practically took a step back to hit that one. It was 67, so he moved his front foot back, and then that gave him more space to swing around and pull the hands in.
Almost like a tennis player who was squaring up to where the ball was coming rather than letting it get to him.
2-2 count remains. Swing and a miss from Quintiliano, and he's down on strikes. There's now 2 gone here in the bottom of the 4th. That'll bring up Andrew Holub. Holub 2 for 2 today with a double and an RBI single.
Holub hoping not to leave Powell stranded out in scoring position. We've seen a couple base runners left out there from Gaithersburg, and if they're going to want to continue the chip away, it's going to need to start to happen soon.
First pitch to Holub found the zone. It's 0-1. Now, Holub recently signing with USC Upstate. So moving on from the Iowa Hawkeyes. Oh, 0-1 to Holub. Misses outside 1-1. Good discipline there by Holub to lay off that one. One fouled off. Holub late and under it. So now 1-2. Again, talk about that chip away mentality. Last night it was a 4-spot and a 5-spot for the Giants that gave them the lead in that game. Just fell to South County simply by not having enough pitchers to finish that one. 1-2. 2 outs. Powell goes. This one hit hard into left field. That's down. Powell will come around to score. And it's another RBI for Andrew Holub, who again chips away at this DC lead. And now it's back to just a 5-run deficit for the Giants.
We mentioned the chip away mentality. We mentioned the Brady Powell base running ability. They combined it there. The early jump from Powell allows him to round home cleanly. Holub and him have combined nicely back-to-back in the order over the past couple games.
Line drive left the bat at 94. First pitch to Krieger finds the zone. Then that line drive, when it made its way over to left field for Adon Izio, again, still having trouble with that name. It nearly leapt over his glove. Had to do a bit of a bunny hop to keep it down in front of him. Holub just staying on first, however. 0-1. Now 1-1 to Magnus Krieger. Krieger last night did not play. However, 2 nights ago here in Game 2 at Criswell Automotive certainly made his presence felt in that doubleheader. Swing and a miss there from Krieger.
I assume it was sarcasm from Krieger last night, but he did mention that if the Giants had put up 13 runs in the 9th, he was ready to go in the bottom 9 to be the third outfielder to take the mound.
Well, if anything, that keeps a lot of these guys from saying pitching is easy. After Babayev and Henley both got strikeouts in their pitching debuts for the Giants, but a lot of walks popped up by Krieger. giving ground is Walpert in the corner of the infield dirt, makes the grab for the third out. Andrew Holub comes through again with another RBI single to score Powell. So it's a 5-run deficit for Gaithersburg as we head to the 5th inning here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. We're in the 5th inning. Gaithersburg down by 5. TJ Adenzio up to bat yet again for the Grays. Had an RBI double back in the first. And then hit by a pitch his last time up. Looks at ball 1. Shane Murphy still out on the mound for Gaithersburg, looking to extend his relief outing. 1-0 misses, now 2-0. Believe the number was 6 or 7 pitchers available in this doubleheader for Gaithersburg. 2-0 misses, 3-0 now the count.
You're top of the 5th. They're going to need Shane Murphy to go as long as he possibly can.
Strike 1 called on Adenzio, who takes time now. Didn't like the call.
And a bit of a complaint from manager Jack Besser of the DC Grays. Goes out and has a chat with the ump. There's ball 4.
Ball 4, and Adenzio will confidently toss the bat aside to bring up the top of the Grays lineup, Ryan Song. Song has reached base in all 3 of his plate appearances, 2 walks and a single for Song here today. Strike 1 called on Song. So last inning, Murphy led off the inning walking Andrew Ruggieri. Pickoff attempt, tag not applied in time by Holub. Murphy started the inning off with a walk of Andrew Ruggieri, but then was able to get a double play ball, so still faced the minimum. Trying to do the same here. 0-1 misses up high at 73. It's 1-1. Misses 2-1 the count now.
Mentioned earlier, Song, the team leader in batting average, second most at bats.
2-1 misses, 3-1. Murphy trying to avoid walking back-to-back batters to start this 5th inning. Again, both games of this doubleheader only 7 innings. 3-1. Misses upstairs, and it is back-to-back walks to start the top of the 5th, and that'll bring up Noel Rivera. Rivera, 1 for 2, was hit by a pitch his first time up, and then a 2 RBI single back in the end, towards the end of the 1st inning, as manager TJ Brockway needs to have a word with Murphy now.
Take some time. We'll see Don't think he'll make the call to the bullpen quite yet. Talking about Song, though, for the Grays, I mentioned his .354 batting average. His on-base percentage was .492, but he's gone on base every single at-bat today, so I can only assume it's gone up to over 50% at this point. So
he has been an on-base machine, as you mentioned, for DC, as well as just a base stealing machine.
Has 22 stolen bases on the season so far. Leads everybody on DC by at least 10 with that mark.
Noel Rivera pops this one up over the netting and hits directly on the fence here at Criswell Automotive. So not necessarily a crossbar challenge, but still pinpoint accuracy from Noel Rivera to find that fence over the netting. 0-1. Murphy gets one disengagement there, steps off to reset his pitch clock. 0-1, 2 runners on. Finds the zone, strike 2 now. Big pitch coming here for Murphy if he can get this punch out. Oh, 2. Couldn't find the swing and miss there from Noel Rivera. 85 targeting the low part of the zone.
He gave Rivera that chase ball just outside of the zone. Good eye to not try to manufacture an extended at-bat.
1-2 is popped up. Brady Powell, not having to move far, makes the grab, and there's one away. Runners don't advance, and that is very key for Shane Murphy, who started this 5th inning off with back-to-back walks. And that brings up the DH Rocco Gilbert. Gilbert making his 2nd at-bat here in this game, replacing Ethan Nagy. Walked his first time up and then was stranded on the base paths. Pops this one up and out of play on the first pitch. Won the count on Rocco Gilbert. Dancing around Anunzio. Pitch delivered low and outside. Rocco Gilbert, the DC native, probably hoping that the Grays would have been able to play at Nats Youth Academy in DC this season, but once again, 3 straight summers and a 3rd straight different home for DC. Popped up foul by Gilbert, now 1-2. So 2 years ago is the Nats Youth Academy. Last year it was Prince George's Community College, and now it is a Woodbridge High School down in Woodbridge, Virginia. So getting further and further away from DC are the Grays.
So the DC Grays, one could say they're the DMV Grays, really taking it to heart and embracing all 3 municipalities in the region. Say that because only 2 of them are states.
1-2 now to Gilbert. Step off, throw down. Audenzio back in time. Murphy has to be a little careful there with his throw back to Cantiliano. Knew that he wasn't going to get Audenzio, so he kind of just threw it back just to get it to the glove, but it barely made it to Cantiliano's glove. 1-2, and ducking out of the way is Rocco Gilbert. Count even at 2-2.
After back-to-back walks, we obviously have seen a bit more of a settle in. Murphy's got himself to 2 strikes in the last at-bats.
2-2 fouled off at the top part of the fence here at Criswell Automotive Field. Count will remain even at 2 apiece. We thank all of you for joining us on the YouTube live stream here this afternoon, battling through a lot of technical difficulties in the past couple days. 2-2, runners go. Zach White does not throw it down, and both runners advance, and the count will go full to Rocco Gilbert.
Gray's not betting on a walk from Gilbert, so wanted to make sure they got themselves into that scoring position if he can put his bat on this one.
Full count, misses inside, and Murphy lets Gilbert get away after he had him 1-2. Misses the zone, and it's bases loaded. I was going to say that the runners advancing there eliminate the traditional double play, but now with the bases loaded, it's a tight jam here for Nathan Murphy as he faces Luke Kochi. First pitch to Kochi, swing and a miss. So what he could not get on Rocco Gilbert, he can get here to start the at-bat on Luke Kochi. Gone fishing on pitch 1. 0-1 from Murphy. Strike 2 called. Now he's up 0-2. Kochi befuddled at 85 on the outer part of the plate. He's down 0-2. Fouled back into the netting. Count will stay 0-2.
Knew he had to fight that one. Murphy almost putting it directly in the middle of the zone. Kochi remains alive, yet to get a ball in this battle.
Murphy shaking off the first pitch. Now delivers here. Misses upstairs, 1-2.
Zach White didn't like that ball. Toss it back to the Gaithersburg dugout.
Murphy hasn't really found his put-away pitch yet. Struck out Andy Rivera when he first stepped onto the bump. 1-2. Still can't find that put-away pitch, just high on Luke Kochi. Count even at 2-2.
That came across the slide right back in over the plate, too high of the zone.
2-2 called, strike 3. There's the put-away from Nathan Murphy. And there's 2 gone here in the top of the 5th.
Andy Rivera's going to come up to bat after seeing the bases loaded. Knows he has 2 outs. Certainly would like to extend this lead and put the game very close to out of reach at some point. We're only playing 7, so the Giants' clock is ticking.
Ticking indeed, ticking up the pitch count now for Nathan Murphy. That one misses inside. 2 outs, bases loaded, 1-0. Misses inside just barely. Andy Rivera struck out his last time up. Had a RBI sac fly back in the first inning. Cannot repeat that here as the sacrifice is out of reach. 2 outs, 2-0, finds the zone. Right when Murphy needed it, could not let that at-bat get to 3-0. 2-1 now to the rising junior at Holy Family. Put on the ground, Marino ranging over, throws it over to third. Diaz picks it and makes the play. Heads up play by Marino. Knew he couldn't force it across the diamond, but gets it to third. Diaz makes the scoop, and that gets the third and final out of the top of the 5th, stranding the bases loaded. I mean, that is quite the jam for Murphy to get out of.
Murphy able to escape. We often see the Giants load the bases and put the pressure on themselves, but the beauty of the bases loaded for the offense is they're a walk away and just have to get 1 to score. But the beauty of bases loaded for the defense is any base is going to be a forced out, so able to just get it to third base, the closest one to him, and that retires the side.
So as Shane Murphy gets out of the jam, we'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Sorry for my mix-up in the last inning. I wrote down Shane Murphy and referred to him as Shane Murphy correctly at least a couple times, but got confused a little bit with Nathan Murphy. Two Murphys in the bullpen for Gaithersburg, but Shane Murphy was the one who got out of the jam. Zach White steps up now. First pitch to White, misses high, 1-0. Still on the mound for the Grays is A.J. Thomas. Swing and a miss in the dirt there. Sounded like it tipped into the glove of A.O. Covey. Count even 1-1.
A.J. Thomas wearing the jersey number of his fellow A.J. Williams, the normal catcher.
1-1. Swing and a miss from White on the outside. Couldn't time up the 85. Was a bit outside the strike zone, so likely could not reach it either. Was Zach White. 1-2. White 0 for 2 in this game thus far. Trying to change that here. Watches ball 2, wisely so. Count even 2 apiece.
A.J. Thomas did not catch that ball at first. Rolled almost all the way down the pitching track here at Crystal Automotive. Surprised he didn't switch that one out after rolling around in the dirt.
Elects to keep his dirty baseball. Let's see if he has the grip. 2-2. Popped up and into the netting by Zach White, who stays alive here.
He had the grip. That was 85 in the zone. Zach White getting a little under it and sends it into the net.
Two count remains. Pitch from Thomas. Looped outside at 67, and the count goes full.
If the mound was about 5 feet back, I think that would have came all the way back to the zone, David. It had movement, just not enough in enough time.
Full count now. Payoff pitch from Thomas. Blooped into shallow right, but under it to make the grab is Andy Rivera for out number 1. And talked about how, I was going to mention how walks have been the biggest difference here in Game 1. Hits equal 5-5, errors equal 2-2. So really just the amount of walks that DC has gotten throughout the game has been the reason they've been able to plate so many more runs, especially in that first inning, putting up 8 of their 9. First pitch to Houghton Henley misses way outside, and it's 1-0.
That first inning, still the difference maker I mentioned. It was the story of the last matchup with the Grays. You erased that one. This is a tie ball game.
Strike 1 called on Nate Houghton Henley.
I was talking to the future Terp last night after his pitching debut. He mentioned that a couple college teams looked at him on the mound, but elected to head to Maryland as an outfielder.
1-1 misses into another zip code by Thomas. Not sure what the issue was on that particular pitch. Humidity ramping up. As we are aware, there is some weather heading towards us. We hope to at least try and get in game 2. We will for sure finish up game 1. 2-1. Misses upstairs 3-1.
I mentioned Thomas had control after the ball rolled around in the dirt. Wonder if he needs a little bit of the earth to help him find the zone, as he's got himself into a 3-1 with Houghton Henley.
3-1. Fouled off by Henley. Count goes full to the future Terrapin. As you mentioned, some schools wanted him to be on the mound. And it's funny, Ethan Bell then said that he had not pitched except for inter-squad practices in high school. Full count. Misses outside, could not break back over the plate for Thomas. And Henley's aboard with a walk for Joey Nicholson. And yeah, Jack might be just the pitching coach for the Grays, as it appears it's just the catcher A.O. Covey and the pitcher meeting with the pitcher's coach for DC. So Thomas to remain in the game for now.
They're smiling, so it can't be anything too bad. Maybe just some minor adjustments. We mentioned he struggling to find the zone a little bit on that at bat, sending some of them high for A.O. Covey. And the Hawaiian native. Wonder how he's enjoying his time in the nation's capital region. More than cross country, a transatlantic journey for the summer.
Well, at least when you're in Hawaii, you have the sea breeze when it's hot. But here, DC being built on a swamp, so humid all the time. Not much breeze here today at Criswell Automotive Field. First pitch to Nicholson. Strike one called, so after the meeting, Thomas regains the zone. 0-1.
You mentioned the Pacific breeze, the Atlantic coast, struggling with heat and humidity this time of the summer.
0-1. Fouled off by Nicholson. He probably thinks that was the pitch for him. Just couldn't time up the 85. Pretty much middle high on the outside part of the plate, right where he could have gotten his barrel, but late on it.
After almost every at-bat for Nicholson last night, he came back and checked the TrackMan that we have set up here to see what his exit speed was.
Yeah, he kept asking us what was my exit speed on that one, and obviously every single one he wished was higher. Runner goes, fouled off by Nicholson. He was down 0-2, had to get that defensive swing, so Houghton Henley has to return. Nicholson trying to battle back here.
Again, that's the pitch that Nicholson looks for. High 80 in the middle of the zone. We've seen the power off his bat. That game in only, that's still ongoing. He went yard there.
Yeah, that game will be resumed on Wednesday, an hour before that second matchup with the Crop Dusters. This one misses way outside. No trouble for Nicholson. Henley does not take off on that one. Elects to stay home.
It was interesting. His home run in only, I believe he mentioned, was 98 off the bat. His home run last night was only 96. And he said he thought the one last night was hit way harder.
1-2 Henley goes. Ball 2. Henley out at second. Ryan Song gets the tag on Henley, who's caught stealing. A.O. Covey gets the throw down, and there's 2 gone here in the bottom of the 5th.
Just going to mention, we talked about A.O. Covey's release. It's a bit loftier than what we've seen from other catchers. The last time didn't pay off. This time it does, so I can't say anything about it because whatever works, works.
That pitch was called ball 2. As Henley returns to the dugout, bases empty now. A.J. Thomas goes to work. Pops out of the glove of Aokovi there.
And perhaps that would have been the more ideal pitch for Houghton Henley to go on as it popped out of Aokovi's glove.
Full count now to Joey Nicholson. Trying to get something going now with 2 outs, bases empty. After Houghton Henley was caught stealing. Payoff pitch. Popped up shallow right field. Andy Rivera under it and makes the grab. Rivera's second putout here in the bottom of the 5th takes us to the 6th inning out of 7 in Game 1 of this doubleheader against the DC Grays. It's the Grays 9, Giants 4, and we'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Back.
Yeah. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Beside me, Collin Smith in Game 1 of this doubleheader. The Grays up 5 after 5 as we enter the top of the 6th inning. 2 more frames to play here in Game 1.
Shane Murphy remains out there for the Giants. A positive sign so far.
First, go ahead.
As the bullpen's limited tonight.
As you mentioned, this one lined by Ruggieri into left center over the glove of Houghton Henley. Ruggieri will take second. Henley circles the ball now and just throws it all the way into third himself from a standing position. As that one, as I described earlier, the bounce on a line drive to the left fielder on an Ezio for the Grays, that one leapt over the glove of Houghton Henley. So what probably would have been a single turns out to be a leadoff double for Andrew Ruggieri.
And Ruggieri trying to extend this lead for his Grays. It will be 5 runs as it stands that the Giants are going to have to rally for.
Rally indeed, as Murphy now has to go to work on Aokovi. First pitch misses up high at 71. Aokovi grounded into that double play that Aiden Marino was able to take himself. Ruggieri dancing on second. Murphy delivers, popped up, Krieger under it in right. Makes the grab, does not jump out of his glove. Relay throw is cut off by Marino. Ruggieri stays at second there.
It was an impressive throw by Krieger to get it to Marino. Sailed that one right in there. Doesn't give Ruggieri any chance to tag up.
Yeah, and I think that's the same glove for Krieger. Earlier in the game, had one jump out of his glove that ended that first inning. So it got the DC Grays upset at the fact that it was still called an out. Swing and a miss from Walpert. Walpert, again, the replacement for Jenkins back in the top of the first inning.
He was a mystery man for a while. He's wearing 39, rostered as 88.
Well, I remember last year the Aces had about 5 additions to their team in a single week, and all of them got numbers in the 80s. So as they entered the game, that's when the 80s started to be blanks filled in with actual numbers. So I remember that trend, and Walpert on the roster as 88, wearing number 39, is who I suspected he was. Walpert has 2 strikes on him here. Ruggieri in scoring position. 1-2 from Murphy. Just misses outside.
Zach White made that look close to the zone. Doesn't fool the umpire, however, but I thought Zach White made that look a little bit closer than TrackMan said.
2-2, swing and a miss in the dirt by Walpert, who's down on strikes for out number 2 here in the top of the 6th.
White dropped it at first, so he made sure to get the tag out for the official ruling.
Nice job by Zach White. Again, it'll be a long day for the Giants backstop, catching here in Game 1 and will catch in Game 2. That one misses upstairs on the 9-hole hitter, TJ Adonisio. Adonisio has reached base all 3 times, has been an effective 9-hole hitter. RBI double, hit by pitch, and a walk. Step off by Murphy. No one covering, so no throw. And that'll be one disengagement this at-bat for Shane Murphy.
Jerry's back there dancing with him, going back and forth.
That one misses upstairs. 2-0 the count now. Ruggieri trying to give the Grays double digits against his former squad of 2 summers ago. 2-0 misses just outside by a hair. Now 3-0.
Murphy needs to find the zone here.
And he does not. So a 4-pitch walk will bring up the top of the order for the Grays in Ryan Song. Song, 3 walks and a single in this game. Has reached base in 4 out of 4 of his plate appearances.
We called him the on-base beast. Leads the team in at-bats and is almost guaranteed to get there.
Ruggieri goes, strike 1 called. Zach White just wanted to hold on to that strike as it was a borderline pitch. So maybe White, realizing a pop-up would have eliminated that strike 1 call because it would have blocked the umpire's view, and that one already pretty high in the zone. Second pitch misses outside.
Also would have had a difficult time turning into Song to make that play.
1-1. That one misses upstairs. Bit of a windmill from Zach White. Trying to keep it down. 2-1 to Ryan Song. Now 3-1 to Song. You do have a base open. Adonisio stands on first, second unoccupied. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. 3-1 misses, and just like that, the bases are loaded once again. Manager TJ Brockway motions to the bullpen as he comes out of the dugout. So I believe this is day done for Shane Murphy, as manager TJ Brockway takes the ball from him. A new arm will warm up for the Giants, and we'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Leo Simpson on the mound for Gaithersburg now, hoping to be the last pitcher manager TJ Brockway has to use here in Game 1. Inherits 3 runners, just as his predecessor Shane Murphy did, and 2 outs as well. And Simpson trying to get out of the jam here. Noel Rivera will be first up against Simpson. First pitch to Rivera. Misses upstairs, 87.
Simpson has a 0 ERA on the season as the book stands, hoping to keep it that way. But as you mentioned, manager TJ Brockway hoping this is the last pitcher he uses, which Simpson has 6 game appearances, only 6 2/3 innings pitched. So not typically a guy that goes extended, but he only needs 1 out here to finish off the 6.
2-0 the count now to his first batter, Noel Rivera. Rivera takes time. Simpson had a 3-inning pitched outing against DC last Monday, I believe is when we were down there in Woodbridge, Virginia. 2-0. Called strike 1 at 88. And I was going to say Simpson, pretty much as he's progressed here this season, has really improved upon that first outing that he had. 2-1, misses upstairs, 3-1. Nowhere to put Rivera here. Three-one, 2 outs here for Simpson. Misses outside, and it is now double digits for the Grays, 10-4, as Ruggieri touches home. Ruggieri had a leadoff double and has been out on the base paths for quite a while, but now 3 walks this inning. Just Ruggieri's double has been put into play this inning, and it's a 10th run for DC. Brings up Rocco Gilbert. First pitch to Gilbert misses inside, 1-0. Gilbert, after taking over for Ethan Nagy, has walked both times. Chops this one down the third base line, touched foul. Count evens at 1-1.
say the designated hitter really without a chance to hit yet in this game. Mentioned the 2 walks. Doesn't get that one past third base. Probably happy about that one. That would have been the 3rd out as it stood.
1-1 to the Grays' designated hitter. Lofts this one into right field. That's just inside the line. Fair ball. 1 run scores. Song scores 2 runs. Rocco into second. He's out trying to stretch that one. So 2 runs will score for DC. It's now 12-4. 3rd run did not cross in time, so Noel Rivera could not get there before Gilbert was tagged out at second. So a 3-spot for DC. It's their largest lead since the top of the 1st inning. An 8-run deficit for Gaithersburg with 6 outs left to work with. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Lightning. Hello, fans. Just real quick here on the Giants Broadcast Network. We have entered a lightning delay here at Criswell Automotive Field. So I believe it is a 30-minute timer, and then within the radius is we enter a weather delay, then we will step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Pay attention to the Giants Twitter and Instagram for updates about when play will resume. The score 12-4 DC heading to the bottom of the 6th. This already a doubleheader where both games were supposed to be 7 innings. I mentioned earlier about weather incoming. I was optimistic in hoping we'd get in the full first game, so I hope that play resumes soon. But once again, please stay tuned on the Giants Twitter and Instagram, and we'll be back on the broadcast as soon as play resumes. Thank you. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I am thrilled to say that we are about to resume play here at Criswell Automotive Field. I'm David Lewis, joined alongside me, Collin Smith, as the lights will start to turn on here in Gaithersburg shortly. It was a long 30 minutes that we had to wait until play resumed. It was a lightning delay, not a drop of rain was felt here in Gaithersburg, but either way, it's going to be a tall order for the Giants offense. Down 8, entering the bottom of the 6th. Again, this is game 1 of a doubleheader, both games 7 innings in length. So backs against the wall here, entering the bottom of the 6th.
We were so close to finishing this game out, got to the second to last inning, but now we'll have the chance to do that. Stepping on the mound for the Grays is Rafael Schneider of Stevens Institute of Technology. And he'll face Aiden Marino first time around.
Yeah, Rafael Schneider appeared in the previous meeting between these two teams back last Monday. And he will face off against Aiden Marino as we resume play here from Gaithersburg. First pitch by Schneider misses outside. Count goes to 1-0.
So Snyder's appearance against the Giants a time ago is his only other appearance on the season. So all he knows is facing Gaithersburg Giants this summer in the Cal Ripken Collegiate League.
1-0. Misses upstairs. And Schneider pretty much did every single one of his warm-up pitches in the middle of the 6th inning before the lightning delay was called, as now he works 2-0 here on Marino. Misses very far, and 3-0 the count now as the air starts to cool down. Finally, a little bit of relief for myself and Collin up here in the booth. Again, the precipitation has stayed away from Gaithersburg. It was just lightning in the vicinity. It didn't even hear thunder, really. 3-0. First strike for Schneider, and it's 3-1 on Aiden Marino.
Snyder 88 clips the far corner. Marino likes not to chase, was right down the line as TrackMan shows it.
3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss from Marino.
There's the chase ball. That's the one Marino was looking for on the 3-0, about a baseball and a half outside of the zone.
Full count pitch, misses outside, and it's a leadoff walk for Aiden Marino to begin the bottom of the 6th inning. Once again, the Giants, down to their last 6 outs here in game 1, would need 8 runs between the bottom of the 6th here and the bottom of the 7th to keep game 1 going.
Combined with some defense, not letting the Grays put any more tallies on the board.
First pitch to Freddie Diaz, misses upstairs. Yeah, you mentioned defense. It was a 3-run RBI single for Rocco Gilbert in the top half of the 6th. He was out stretching to second, but that is the difference in terms of the 6th frame. Diaz watches strike 1. Before that, it was a 9-4 ball game. 8 of 12 DC's runs came back in the first inning. 1-1 from Schneider. Misses in the dirt, 2-1. And Collin, it has to be difficult for Schneider to have to be forced back to his car, as pretty much everyone here at Criswell Automotive Field was, while the lightning delay, and then come back out and try and pitch. Marino goes, high throw. It's 3-1. There's no throwdown from Aokovi behind the plate.
You were talking about Schneider having to come out of that lightning delay. It's almost as if you're coming out of the bullpen for a second time. You get your warm-up ready, set your pitch, then you go cold. So it's almost like you're subbing into this game 2 times.
This one popped into right field. Andy Rivera flags it down to make the grab as Diaz flies out. Had a 3-1 count on him, but thought that the 89 on the outside black was good to hit, but just couldn't get his bat head on it. Slaps it the opposite way and flies out to Andy Rivera. That brings up the top of the order Brady Powell, who was up here in the booth with us during a large portion of that delay.
Brady Powell, Zach White, Leo Simpson decided to join us in the treehouse.
Marino takes off for third, strike one called. Still no throw from Ayo Covey. So Marino 90 feet away here from making this a 7-run ball game. Powell trying to come through. 0-1 misses upstairs. It's now 1-1.
It's funny, as the weather started to come on, Brady Powell said to himself, "Oh, I have to hit soon," and had to run out here and get to the dugout and get himself ready for the return to play.
1-1. Misses low and inside. 2-1 from Schneider. Yeah, he was up here enjoying himself, and there was some suspicion between some of the players that we would have the game outright canceled, but for now, the weather staying away. 2-1. This one on the ground to the third baseman, off the glove of Noel Rivera into shallow left. Powell will elect to stay at first. It does drive in a run. They score that one as a hit, as a tough hop for Noel Rivera at the hot corner gives the Giants their 5th run of the game.
And Powell has been fantastic for the Giants. He's been a do-it-all guy. He's been an on-base monster, loves that lead-off spot. He's also been a monster stealing the bases recently. They're getting that RBI. I'd like to really shout out Aiden Marino, though. He really manufactured that run. Aggressive base running. Never had a throwdown on his stolen base attempts.
And a balk already called on Schneider here to begin this at-bat on Michael Contigliano, as Schneider will get a talking to from his pitching coach. You mentioned that this is Schneider's 2nd outing of the season, or the summer at least, so he's getting a talking to by his pitching coach, giving him a pretty visual description of what he wants executed here.
Interesting that Okobe did not join them on the mound. Typically you see the catcher join the pitch meeting, but elects to stay behind the dish, as the Stevens Institute of Technology duck will get set to pitch once again after the balk.
Brady Powell now stands on second because of that balk. Schneider hasn't delivered a pitch yet to Contigliano. He does now, and it bounces in for ball 1. Powell does not take off on that pitch. We'll see how eager Powell is to go, as Schneider kicks around a lot of dirt there on the mound. (1-0) to Contigliano. Almost hits him there, gets out of the way. So unlike Contigliano's last at-bat, where he got out of the way of a pitch that eventually broke back over the plate, that one 87 stayed true into the lefty batter's box, so getting out of the way there. 2-0 to number 2. Called a ball inside. Now 3-0. 3-0 count to Contigliano. Over the head, Powell will take third. Contigliano will jog on down to first. Runners on the corners, one away for Andrew Holub, who already has 2 RBI singles today.
That's a really rough battle for Schneider there. It began with a balk that got Powell to second base and eventually allowed him to steal third on the passed ball. Had a meeting with his pitching coach and proceeds to throw 4 balls, including one that passes by, to load the corners.
Here's Andrew Holub. First pitch to Holub finds the zone. And so for the first time this inning, Schneider starts a batter off 0-1. Holub trying to muscle Gaithersburg back into game one here. 0-1. Misses high, 1-1. Cantiliano not taking too big of a lead on first. Powell staying in the foul grass down the third base line.
Considering we've already seen one balk, I wonder how interested in Schneider is in attempting a pickoff.
1-1. Bounces in. Aokovi does a nice job keeping that one in front of him to prevent Powell from taking home. 2-1. Two and one the count to Andrew Holub. Runners on the corners, one out. Cantiliano takes off, high pitch, and no throw from Aokovi. It's now two runners in scoring position and a 3-1 count for Andrew Holub.
That's only Cantiliano's second stolen base of the season, so he might have gotten there anyways if there's a fourth ball here, but wanted to show off his speed.
And it is a fourth ball to Andrew Holub. That loads the bases for Magnus Krieger.
Cantiliano just showing off, taking the more dangerous path to second base.
And now this looks to be a pitching change. Jack Besser takes the ball from Raphael Schneider, who, again, threw all of his warm-up pitches, pretty much all of them, that is, before the lightning delay, and then was called off the field, and then came in, walked one, and that was Aiden Marino, who came around to score. Was able to get the fly out of Freddie Diaz, but an RBI single by Brady Powell, a balk, and then two walks will see his day over. Dean Kira on the mound now for the Grays while Kira warms up. Will step away, this time for much shorter than previously on the Giants Broadcast Network. Pretty much. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Dean Kira taking over for Raphael Schneider. And with that, inherits the bases loaded, just one out. And the cleanup hitter for Gaithersburg, Magnus Krieger, up to bat.
Kira comes in. He's got a 6.75 ERA. This is his third game, and he's thrown 5 1/3 this summer.
First pitch to Krieger. Misses high. So we talked about the walk discrepancy being the issue for Gaithersburg in the first inning, but 3 walks here in the bottom of the 6th give him a golden opportunity. Bounces in 2-0 to Magnus Krieger. Dean Kira has not found the strike zone yet to start this relief outing.
Covey does a good job of covering it there. We keep talking about bases loaded. letting someone steal home would not be ideal in this situation.
2-0 misses again low, 3-0. And I doubt Krieger gets the bat off his shoulder here. We'll see if Kira can find the zone as a check swing by Krieger gets called strike one. Clips belt high on Krieger.
Heard someone in the Giants dugout say, get a little base hit here. So I wonder what his mindset was with the 3-0 considering the hands were moving.
3-1. Swing and a miss. Krieger getting a little wide-eyed there, and now the count goes full.
So Kira got him, belt high in the zone for the strike one. Delivers this one low, catches Krieger chasing, showing he's going all over the place vertically.
Big spot, full count to Krieger. Chopped, just foul. It was tough to tell from our angle whether that was going forward or backwards, but ends up going behind the catcher Ao Covey, and Zach White will pocket that baseball and return to the on-deck circle.
I thought that ball disappeared for a second. Magnus Krieger pulling a magic trick.
Full count remains here on Krieger. Bases loaded, one out, bottom sixth. Pitch on the ground to Noel Rivera. Double play ball. Gets away and into right field. Powell scores. Cantillano scores. And Holub will just hold up at second. And so we talked about earlier the error by Noel Rivera. It's another one, this time a throwing error, giving Gaithersburg 2 runs.
And we talked about the difficulties for the bullpen coming out of the lightning break. We saw Schneider's day end early, but these infielders also got cold sitting in their cars. So Cauchy just loses track of that and leads to 2 runs scored for the Giants.
Zach White fouls back the first pitch. Yeah, Cauchy didn't really have much of a chance at that throw by Rivera. It was way offline. And then the big body of Andrew Holub sliding into second there. Holub didn't really realize the throw had gotten away, so no opportunity for him to take off for third. It's now 0-1 to White. But this one put on the ground to the shortstop, ranging over Song, trying to get to third, and they do in time. Was kind of a quickly developing play over there as Ryan Song had to wait for Noel Rivera to cover third, but they do get the throw off in time, so it remains first and second, but Andrew Holub back in the dugout. Krieger on second, White on first for Nate Houghton-Henley.
Interesting that they chose third base there. They had a potential double play. Maybe it looked like Magnus got a good jump on it to second base, but
I think the other part, too, was that one was put pretty much in the gap, so Song's range being showcased there, and just his body was only going towards third. 1-0. Houghton-Henley leaves that one low. It's now 2-0. Two outs, 2 on for Nate Houghton-Henley, the future Terrapin. Leaves that one outside, but it's strike one.
I was on the far side of the plate, so the ump calls it. First strike of this bat.
2-1. Left low by Henley again, 3-1. So Gaithersburg has already gotten back what they gave up in the top half of the 6th inning before the lightning delay. So it's back to a 5-run deficit. 3-1, 2 outs. Krieger on second. White on first. This one put on the ground and into left field. Krieger circling. He's headed home. The throw in is in time. Krieger tried to sidestep the tag by Ao Covey and is out at home. And that will end this 6th inning that could have been a lot more, and it was left on the table.
It's a great throw and a catch. Graze on the same page. And it was interesting there. Krieger he tried that sidestep, just could not get around the tag from Aokovi. So that ends the inning. Base runner stranded for Gaithersburg. They only have 3 more outs if they're going to try to rally back and win this first leg of the doubleheader.
Yeah, surely was a lot left on the table there. Leo Simpson will come back out on the mound. He pitched before the lightning delay, was able to get the Giants out of a jam in the top of the 6th, and he'll do battle in the top of the 7th when we come back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Leo Simpson back out on the mound. Simpson was able to get the 3rd out last inning by way of Rocco Gilbert stretching to second base. So did give up the single, but he inherited bases loaded with 2 outs. And that single tried to stretch into a double, cleared the bases. First pitch from Simpson, grounded over to Diaz for the nice, easy out number 1 of Luke Kochi.
So Simpson able to get something that Schneider wasn't when he came out cold from the lightning delay, and that's an out. So the Taliesin Tiger already retires 1. It's the top of the 7th. He's got 2 more to go. He joined us in the broadcast booth in the treehouse during that lightning delay and seemed calm, cool, and collected.
Now he'll face Andy Rivera, who squares to bunt. And they say that the bunt attempt was not pulled back, so even though it hit Rivera, he will have to stay in the box. That is strike 1 on Andy Rivera.
I had put into our scoreboard, I thought Rivera was taking himself there, but the call to the first base ump says he did not pull back, much to the dismay of manager Jack Besser for the Grays.
Yeah, so it hit Rivera, but Rivera squaring to bunt did not pull back as the pitch came in. And that is key to this. Now going to be issued a warning by the home plate umpire is the third base coach for the Grays. Not sure if that's Jack Besser himself. 0-1 from Simpson. Skips in 1-1 the count now.
Rivera doesn't square to bunt this time. Learns his lesson from a pitch ago. Will likely have a bruise to commemorate it.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it hit his big elbow guard. Now he cracks this one into left field, tailing foul, and it does get out of play. Brady Powell was tracking that one, but not in his range of foul ground. 1-2 the count now for Andy Rivera.
Andy Rivera doing his best chance to say ball doesn't lie.
1-2. He hits this one into deep center. Houghton Henley couldn't read that one off the bat. Goes over his head. And now Rivera goes in to second base. Was 102 off the bat, and Houghton Henley had a tough read there, took a couple steps in, and they always teach you in youth baseball, first step always back. But, I mean, 102 off the bat, that's just a tough line drive to read for Houghton Henley.
That ball continued to fly. It kept going up and up and up and just did not drop. Houghton Henley too late with his back pedal. You and I have talked a little bit about Bill Nye, the science guy, teaching us a lesson about humidity, allowing a ball to travel a bit further. It's cooled off. The humidity's still in the air in Gaithersburg. Wonder if that had to come into play.
The threatening clouds to our west are starting to dissipate. 1-0 misses inside, 2-0. Now to Andrew Ruggieri. Ruggieri took over in center field for Tyler Wiltsey. 2-0 the count now to Ruggieri. Strike one called at 87.
Ruggieri was the first base runner to score one of those three in the sixth inning. Hopes to round the bases once again.
2-1, misses outside. Ruggieri trying to see his way on base for the third time. 3-1. He's going to have to wait there as the count will go full. Called strike two. Pretty big pitch here for Simpson. If he can get 2 outs, that eliminates the sacrifice opportunity for the Grays. Full count. Misses outside. It's 2 on, 1 out, with Ruggieri aboard his second walk of the game.
I think Simpson's had his stuff for the most part coming out of this delay. Certainly you don't like to see the walk there, but has the control, just hasn't exactly had the placement.
First pitch to Aokovi, grounded over to Cantiliano, double play ball. Marino's throw to first in time. 4-6-3 to end the 7th inning. So Leo Simpson has a bit of traffic coming out of the delay, but takes care of business. Gets out of the 7th, putting up a 0 for the Grays. And the Giants are down to their final 3 outs here in Game 1. They have to play it at least 5 to keep it going here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Yeah, no.
Come back.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis, joined alongside me, Collin Smith. And we enter the bottom of the 7th inning. Gaithersburg down to their last 3 outs here in Game 1 of this doubleheader against the DC Grays. They find themselves down 12-7. Once again, if you erase that first inning which was 8-1 at its conclusion. It is a 4-6 decision in favor of the home team. First pitch to Joey Nicholson is ball 1. One-0 from Kira. Popped up. Ranging over. Kochi makes the grab in shallow right. And just like that, 2 pitches, 1 out for Dean Kira.
Kira trying to get his Grays out of this game. They've had to go to the bullpen since that lightning delay. Potentially, we're hoping to save Kira for the second leg of this, but hoping to be the one that seals the deal for game 1.
First pitch to Aiden Marino is outside for ball 1. Marino walked his last time up and would come around to score in the bottom of the 6th. 1-0. Finds the zone. 1-1 even count. Pitch from Kira. Hits Marino, and he's aboard after eating that one on the side.
And now we're back to the situation that plated 3 runs in the previous inning for Gaithersburg. 1 out this time around, but Marino on base is a good way to start.
Marino on first. Freddie Diaz at bat here. First pitch to Diaz. Finds the zone at 83. Diaz had a 3-1 count last time up and then flew out to shallow right field. Just last inning. 0-1. This one hit hard into left field. That's down for a base hit. So it moves Marino into scoring position. And now 2 are on base for Gaithersburg, and the top of the Gaithersburg lineup in Brady Powell.
That's Freddie Diaz's 3rd hit of the season. Has struggled a bit at the plate, but in crunch time for Gaithersburg right now, he's able to come up with a needed base hit.
I'm sure that feels good for Freddie Diaz. The Davidson product didn't have that many at-bats in the spring. First pitch to Powell bounces in. As I mentioned, I believe he had 4 at-bats total for Davidson in the spring, so didn't see a lot at the plate, so has adjusted here. 1-0, misses outside. Aokovi getting that one nicely in the glove to prevent Marino from moving over to third. 2-0 the count to Powell. Kira looks down Marino. Delivers now. Called strike 1 on the outside. 2-1 the count now to Brady Powell.
Kira getting some kind words from his dugout.
2-1. Swing and a miss by Powell. 83 elevated. And now it's 2-2 to Powell. Marino on second. Diaz on first. Powell 2-2 in the box. Marino takes off. Diaz takes off. Throw outside. Throw gets cut off there by Couchy at second. They were not expecting the throwdown, they being Song and Couchy, the middle infielders for the Grays, from Aokovi, the catcher for the Grays. Didn't really expect that throwdown at all, but did not let it get into center. It is a full count now to Brady Powell. First base unoccupied. Pitch from Kira. Way outside, and it's bases loaded for Michael Cantiliano.
wasn't really needed the steal, but once again, Gaithersburg showing off their impressive speed. Quintiliano finds himself in a big opportunity here.
Big opportunity for the Seton Hall Pirate. Tying run now in the on-deck circle for Gaithersburg. First pitch tipped back into the glove of A.O. Covey. Middle low on the TrackMan strike zone for Michael Quintiliano. 0-1. Skips in and out of the glove of A.O. Covey, 66 there. So Kira going from 83 to 66 with no pitches in between.
Quintiliano has 7 RBIs on the year, not home runs. That'd be no home runs. This would be an opportune time for that to happen. We're looking to add his 8th RBI.
2-1 to Michael Quintiliano. Pitch from Kira. This one hit into left center field. Can it get in the gap? No, it cannot. But Marino will tag up and score. So a sac fly and another RBI for Michael Quintiliano makes it 12-8. So now 2 outs. Gaithersburg down to their final out, down 4.
The run scores, but like you mentioned, Gaithersburg is in the danger zone with the 2 outs. The tying run close to getting to the plate, but still much work to do for the Giants.
First pitch to Andrew Holub finds the zone. 0-1 to Holub. Freddie Diaz on second now as the sun comes in from the west, lighting up here at Criswell Automotive Field. 0-1. Started the hands was Holub. It's called strike 2 on the outside. Gaithersburg down to their final strike. Can Andrew Holub keep this game alive here?
The sun that's coming out is going to be right in Kira's eyes as he looks to deliver the finalizing pitch.
0-2. Misses high. Kira will have to deliver again. 1-2 the count. Again, Diaz on second, Powell on first. One, two, 2 outs, bottom 7. Kira delivers. Outside, 2-2.
Andrew Holub showing great patience in this at-bat. The game rests on his shoulders at the moment. Choosing not to chase at them.
2-2, 2 outs. Kira looks down, Diaz delivers. Outside again. Full count now. Holub was down 0-2. Now finds himself in a full count. Kira trying to end game 1 for the Grays. With a 12-8 victory, Holub trying to keep this game going. Full count pitch. Popped up. Tailing. Foul. Under it. Makes the grab. There is Tanner Walpert. And that ends game 1 here from Criswell Automotive Field. The DC Grays 12, Gaithersburg 8. Game 2 will start in 10 minutes. So we are going to take a break for a brief moment. But first, Collin, your thoughts on Game 1 interrupted by a lightning delay.
My thoughts on Game 1 were the Giants able to rally. Again, it's the theme that's over and over. It's the big inning for Gaithersburg. Once again, it's the first block where the Giants just put up too many runs that turn into the difference maker. Tonight, it was 8. Last time they faced the Grays, it was 5. It's finding consistency across usually 9. Today, 7 innings. If they can put together that full game, the Giants are with any team in the league.
Yeah, you're certainly right. Just that complete game, avoiding those big early innings that get them in the deficit. We've seen repeatedly that it's just so hard to get themselves out of that deficit. Last night, they were down 7-0 in South County, battled back to go up 9-7, but just didn't have the pitching to finish that game out. Once again, we'll be back with Game 2 in now under 10 minutes of this doubleheader, and the DC Grays will be first up to bat, and we will restart the stream minutes beforehand, and we hope to see you on the stream there. Thank you